Episode
What do you
2.
want to talk about?
Soke and
Okay,
Sensei Carlie
so
having a conversation about
got
aspirations,
sidetracked by
goals, and
frickin'
expectations.
Last one.
Enjoy.
Frack, yeah.
So, what I want to know is, okay, so take me back to that year, a year ago, right? When I showed up. Because I want to know what was going through your mind when I was standing there watching Ryan teach, and then I jumped in and made him stop, and I basically said he was doing everything wrong. Like, what was going through your mind?
You want to know what I was... Okay. So to be quite honest,
Yeah.
when you first walked up, I was very unsure if you were, it was you who Ryan was talking about until he addressed you.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I've never met someone, from martial arts, informally. It was always, as a kid, it was always me going into a dojo, and they were already dressed up, and they were very a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really nervous because I didn't know what to expect or how to address you or how to act at first. So that was going through my mind. And then once, we talked a little bit and whatever, and Brian started doing his thing, when you stopped him and told him that he was basically doing everything wrong, I felt kind of bad for him at first because he really tried.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess I was just more open-minded to the whole idea of it. Just being, I don't know. I'm one of those people where I kind of just go head first into something, open-minded, and just see what happens. And that was pretty much my thoughts. I was like, okay, well, Ryan trusts him. He says he knows what he's doing, and I guess let's find out. And then it just went from there, really.
Okay. So you didn't have any preconceived notions of what I was doing. You weren't upset that, I told Ryan he was doing everything wrong, and...
Well, my heart hurt for a split second for him, because it's like, oh, you poor thing, you tried so hard, and you just got shamed in front of everyone. But honestly, at the end of the day, it worked out. So I was basically like, okay, well, he doesn't seem like he's super affected by it, so he'll get over it.
Yeah, I was super annoyed, right? Because I was prepared to come. Well, I wasn't annoyed that I was super annoyed that every technique he was doing, I had to fix something. That's what I was. It wasn't even him I was annoyed at, because when you teach, you don't do everything perfectly. Even I don't. But when I sit back and I watch guys teach, I want them to do everything perfectly. It doesn't make any sense, but I want it done perfectly. So when I see it, and when I saw him making mistakes, I'm like, damn it. So the damn it was me looking for an excuse to have to take over, I think. Because I really wanted to get back in there anyways. I just was not admitting it to anybody. And when I saw him making all those mistakes, I'm like, all right, I'm back. Get out of my way.
I have to.
Yeah. Well, it's an obligation. Yeah. But.
No, I understand. But no, I was, for the most part, I was a little nervous. I was open-minded about it. But I was also really excited, too, because, Brian has always talked very highly of you and what you do and your skill set and how long you've been doing it, and some of the stuff, the stories you told me about you and using it in real life, right?
Yep.
It got me excited for it.
Yeah, because the application's there, right? It's not point karate.
No.
So I never get nervous when I'm standing in front of a bunch of new people, and I wasn't nervous standing in front of you guys. And a lot of the time that comes off as being arrogant. I was just wondering what your first impressions of my attitude, my style were, because I'm not the smallest guy in the world, and when I walk up, a lot of people go, okay, whatever, until I move, right? And then opinions change.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was one of my thoughts in my head. I was like, okay, like, is this guy actually gonna, show me some good stuff, some cool stuff, or I'm like, is Ryan just over exaggerating about how he talked about you? But yeah, also I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a little intimidating at first, and that I don't know if I would use the term arrogant, but you just seemed very, like, okay with the idea of it, I guess, at first. Like, you weren't, like, one of those stuck-up guys who's like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever, you want me to teach a bunch of, like nobodies, like, okay, waste my time. Like, you weren't ignorant or anything, and it was respectful, and I don't know, I honestly thought it was a good day. I didn't think you had a poor attitude or an arrogant attitude, to be quite honest.
Well, I like to hear that, because, if you look at it the right way, it's actually quite humbling for people to trust you that don't know you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm walking into a group of people who, quite frankly, don't know me from Adam, and you're saying, twist me up, show me how to do it, and I'll trust that you don't break my arm. And I think a lot of that mutual respect gets lost when the instructor stands in front of the class with his nose in the air and, here, sign this year contract, pay for your gi, now drop and give me 100 push-ups, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, no. I don't think that it would have, I don't think I would have stuck around if you would have done something like that.
Yeah, honestly, I've never been like that. I like to keep myself in check, right? Because I always remember where I came from. And especially now, I remember the struggle that I've had. And if you want to maintain that truth, the simplicity of it, you can't forget where you started. You can't forget those flag points that stick out that help. They should help you realize that getting here or getting to where you're going, it's not going to be easy.
Oh God, no.
But I've seen dojos, like, part of the reason that we had to close was because of different instructors. Round one, I didn't close because of round one, but they forced me out because they weren't paying the rent, and I was sharing space with them. And the landlord of the building came in one day when I was teaching a class and said, "Where's the rent?" And I said, "I don't know. Sandy was supposed to pay it." And then he says, "Well, I haven't seen Sandy or Bernie in a month, but I've seen you in and out of here." I said, "Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know." So that's when I started looking for commercial space. And commercial space then, I had 2,500. I found 2,500 square feet for $1,500 a month plus tax. So I was about $2,000 a month plus heat and hydro.
Holy crap!
So, yeah, and for 2 months the heat went out on us in the wintertime because we couldn't afford it. I'll be honest with you. And then we caught everything up. Got a heat turned back on.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's actually easier training in the cold, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, anybody can break a sweat in the heat, right? But when
Yeah.
when you break a sweat in the cold, then you know you're really warmed up.
Yeah,
Right? It's easier to gauge your own. It's easier to listen to your body in the cold, actually.
Mhm.
Right? So far, we've been at it a year, and so far you're at Orange Belt.
Yep.
Where do you see yourself going in the future?
Where I see myself going or where I want to go? Because I think both of those are different.
Okay, so let's address the. And I know they're different for you, because you're crazy.
Yep.
So where do you see yourself going? First,
Honestly,
yeah.
I want to get to black belt
Okay.
and surpass that, like, extensively.
Okay.
But I see myself, the furthest I can actually see is me getting to green or blue, and then I can't see past that point.
Why do you think that is? Are you listening to the tales of the blue belt curse in the dojo?
No, it's not that. I assure you, it's not that.
But what would stop you from going any further than black or blue? Because
I'm too hard on myself and I don't feel like I deserve it. If it's not perfect for me, it's not. Okay, even if you tell me I'm doing a good job and it's not perfect, and I know it's not perfect,
yeah,
I feel like I don't deserve it. And therefore, I feel like even if I got to that point, I would be so hard on myself and so critical about how I do things. Because in my mind, a black belt should be basically like that Jackie Chan shit you see in the movie.
nope, you're wrong.
I know it's choreographed. I know it's just in my mind.
We
That's
can't-
what I see.
We can't speed up the camera. We can't call cut so you can redo it. So you get what you get.
I'm just saying that's why I think that I can't see myself that far, because I beat myself up a lot. I have a hard time. I'm a perfectionist. If things aren't perfect for me, it bothers me. Like, really bothers me.
I get that, and I think you've come a long way with that too. Actually,
I've been trying.
so all we need to do is get you past that Jackie Chan point,
Yeah, I guess.
right? You know, if you had,
Go ahead.
if you had some advice for someone who wanted to train with us, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give somebody coming into it? Walking into our class the first day, what advice would you give somebody?
It's an interesting question. I've never thought of that. Probably that, like not to be hard on themselves, which I know contradictory, right?
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to have a high pain tolerance or have a really strong sense of mind over matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's things that we do and it hurts. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't feel pain and it doesn't hurt sometimes. It definitely does. I just don't cry about it and I deal with it. So that definitely. And that if they really want to stick with it, then they will. Like, I know some people, like, I don't know what Tracy's excuse was, but I know some people will be like, oh, well, I really want to, but, or, I really want to come to class, but.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it's like, no, if you want it, you'll make it happen.
Exactly. See, and I'm gonna turn that around on you. If you really want black belt, you'll make it happen, and I know you will. You're almost at sitting at green after a year.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. But
Why?
Yeah.
Why does that make you nervous? You should be excited.
I am excited, but I'm also nervous because, A, from what I've been told by Grandmaster Dr. Hanshu Scott Collins,
Yes.
is that our grading is going to be a black belt grading with the boys, and from what I've been told, they're really intense and really hard and really long,
Yes.
and I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to keep up, and I want to do that. I want to prove myself so I can actually earn that belt, and I feel like if I don't do it, then I don't earn it. I don't deserve it.
So here's your answer to that, or my response, anyways. You're testing for green belt, and during a black belt grading, it's impossible to fail unless you quit. If you're getting thrown into the fire like that, and you stick it out, and don't give up, and try everything, I can't. The only way I could fail you is if you quit. Gradings are that simple. You can make as long as you stick with it. For my third degree grading, I wanted to quit. Honestly, my instructor was being rude to me. He was disrespectful. He was an hour and a half late. I knew he was going to fail me anyways. And one of my buddies came in and was watching me do all my katas, and he's like, thumbs up. He's like, and I just looked at him and I shook my head back and forth, no. And then, sure enough, I was failed. I had 30 people watching, and Master Zabitz failed me.
That was rude.
Well, he had his reasons, I guess. I didn't question it. I said, okay. And then a few days later, his wife called me and said, your certificate's sitting here.
Oh, so he just did it to embarrass you or something?
I don't know. I never asked.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think it happened? Because you were obviously deserving of it.
Oh, I believe I was. I did. I designed the grading. My second, third, and fourth degree grading is I designed and handed to him. And for somebody to show up an hour and a half late when they're supposed to be testing somebody, and my grading was on the calendar for a whole year, there was no reason for him not to realize it was supposed to be that day. He did that on purpose too. So. So I can't speak to his reasons for doing it. I just know I would never do that to anybody that I'm training.
Well, that makes me happy because that would suck.
Yeah.
I feel like I let you down before I even did anything.
I wouldn't even.
Am I that shitty? He doesn't want to show up.
I don't even know that I would test somebody that I didn't like. You know, if somebody just showed up out of the blue, hey, you're an 8th degree, can you test me for my 4th? Well, I don't know you, so no.
No, definitely not.
So, and the thing is, Stu knew me for a long time, and I don't get it. You know, but that's part of the journey. It's part of the struggle. Right? Maybe someday I'm going to have to sit down and think about that and work it out.
That's true, yeah.
Right?
I'm still nervous about getting there, but I'm sure it'll pass at some point.
Nothing wrong with being nervous. Nothing wrong with being scared. There's nothing wrong with being intimidated. It's what you do with those emotions when the test shows up, right?
go to my head, and then I can't breathe, and you gotta calm me down.
Yeah, thanks for adding work.
Sorry. 20 push-ups.
20 push-ups. So is it... I remember when Ryan brought this cockamamie idea to me about teaching a seminar to these people for self-defense. And I didn't realize that he had Leo coming to this thing too. So I told him I'm not leaving my house for anything less than $350. So make sure there's enough people there for me to make $350. There wasn't, and I didn't make $350, and I still went. But what was the idea behind doing this seminar thing from where you were standing? Like what were you guys trying to achieve?
Like, why did we want it so bad?
Yeah. Like if you had Ryan teaching you this stuff, because if I hadn't have shown up, and I've thought about this a few times, if I hadn't have shown up, you wouldn't know that he was doing things wrong.
No.
Right?
That's true.
So, and I'm the one that said, let's get organized, let's teach an actual martial arts class instead of just this. So, what was the idea behind the self-defense seminar?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Because I know this is going on podcast.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were all of the like-mindedness that we know what was coming in the world when it came to this whole COVID bullshit.
Okay.
And where the world's going and what could potentially come to pass. We hope not, but could. Basically in terms of martial law or in terms of if, the world becomes so scarcely dense with food because of the fucking food shortages and all of that stuff, and people start fighting and on and on, just different scenarios, right, about the way the world is right now. We wanted to be able to at least protect ourselves at a bare minimum. That coupled with the fact that I had always wanted to learn martial arts of some form ever since I was a kid. I just couldn't afford it because I was poor. I kept bugging him. As soon as I found out that he did martial arts with you, I was like, that's cool. I really wanted to learn martial arts, and I mean, that would help us with our self-defense stuff. Like, can you ask him to come and teach us? And he's like, no, he doesn't want to teach any white belts. Then I was like, well, tell him that I want him to teach white belts because I want to meet him. You say he's this grand master and he's so wonderful and he's great at what he does and he's going to plow through you like a friggin' train, then yeah, I want to meet him. I want him to teach us. And it took how long of us bugging until you actually showed up?
Probably 6 months.
I was going to say, it was like pretty close to 6 months.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I've been burned so many times. I mean, Ryan's stuck by me through a lot of things, so I wasn't worried about him burning me.
Yeah.
It was about the people behind him. Like, who are these guys? Politically, I sit neutral. I think everybody knows that, and I don't get involved until I have to. And I'll teach anybody anything, anytime, as long as I'm respected. And the last couple of years of my dojos being open, I would say really the last 8 months, I really got shat on by some quote-unquote grandmasters and some students. And I'm not naming names, but one of them's in our dojo right now and owes me money from back then. Edit that out.
Huh.
And thinks it's funny, actually. And I don't. I really don't, because the reason I had to close was because I was floating so many students, that I was helping people in need. And this student thinks that it's, kind of,
A joke?
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I know who it is, but we're not going to name names, right?
No, we're not.
That's upsetting. Well, on the bright side, though, I've never tried to rip you off at any point, and I've always tried to help get more people involved, and,
No, I'm gonna. Yeah, this has been very positive for me coming back like this, and I'm excited to teach again. Like, you guys draw the best out of me.
That's good. That makes me happy. It would suck if you got dragged back into this and you're like, oh, fuck, is it going to be over yet?
No, I know. No, you guys, it's easy. It's easy to get excited when everybody around you gets excited, right? And even when I've got to dish it out hard, even when I've got to be the dad, it's still coming off of that. It's okay. Nobody, the reactions are all positive, right? So, and I feel like you guys have my back too, and like I told you guys, when I was promoted to 5th degree, it was whatever, okay, I'll take it. 6th degree was kind of a slap in the face, and then 7th degree was okay, but I had to ease, I had to get used to it. But when you guys honored me with that 8th degree, it fit. Right? It fit immediately.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
Yeah.
It felt right, you said?
Yeah. It just, I didn't have to reconcile anything. It was okay. It was fine.
Well, that's a good thing, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's how I know I'm in the right place, right? Now, the Grandmaster PhD, that's something that's still sinking in.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I even address you anymore? Like Dr. Hanshi? Is that what I should say?
So, you can, Dr. Hanshi, you can call me Doctor, you can call me Hanshi.
Okay.
And it's it's even appropriate, Dr. Collins, but it's what you guys prefer, whatever you guys want.
Dr. Collins, I think I broke my toe.
Take an Advil. Call me in the morning.
How is your toe, by the way?
It's actually better today, now that I got bit on the hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess you're not really thinking about your toe right now, are you?
No, it's actually kind of weird. It went away. Look at that, eh?
Yeah. How many times did you get bit?
Half a dozen. He went at me pretty hard.
Oh, jeez. What
Um,
kind of dog is he?
he's a herding dog from the Appalachian Mountains. I cannot remember what breed he is. He's a
Is he some sort of like a collie or something?
no, he's a Pyrenees Mountain Dog.
Oh, he's like a big
Yeah,
boy.
he's in that family of Pyrenees Mountain Dogs,
Oh, man.
right? So, and yeah, his owner's parents were standing there when he was doing it, and they're like, "This is not good," and they're yelling at him, and I just turned to them and I went, "I got this, just leave it." And then I couldn't stop Tsunami from getting in the mix. So
That sucks.
yeah.
That doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, I've been This is only the third time I've been bit in like the 3 years I've been doing this. So
That's not bad, actually.
no. There are.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You asked me how I felt the first time meeting you and my first impressions and stuff.
Yeah.
What were yours? Other than you didn't want to get gypped. You have to be honest.
Okay. So when I was correcting Ryan, I felt like you guys were kind of a little bit upset with me the way I was talking to him. I felt like there was we were gonna have to have a discussion about rank and where Ryan stands in, you know, where his place is next to me, right? I felt like that discussion was gonna have to happen. It didn't, which, you know, is always better not to have to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like so yeah, I felt like you guys were kind of
An odd bunch of people.
no, because I'm used to odd. Like I don't know how to word it. Like odd is not.
You got me worried now. You can't articulate it.
No, I can't.
Did you think we were going to quit out on you?
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna last. That's for sure. I kind of thought you guys were in it for like the short haul. You know, I'd get a couple of months out of you guys, and that would be the end of it. I was pleasantly surprised when that didn't happen. Like it was, you know, after that yellow belt grading, I knew that you guys were going to be around for the long haul. Especially Joe, because I felt like a fire got lit under him, right?
Yeah.
I liked that you guys were open to talk to me. You were asking questions, and you know, I didn't feel like we got off to a rough start. I felt like it was pretty smooth. The only thing that, like I said, it was the way I treated Ryan. I thought for sure was going to turn you guys against me. I thought there'd be some dissension there because I was so hard on him.
It did upset me a little bit just because I felt for him. But I also understood that, like, you were his teacher, too.
Yeah, and I don't come from a soft school, right?
No.
And you guys didn't have that background information, and you'd not seen Ryan and I work together, right?
That's very true as well.
And actually, as hard as I was on Ryan, he actually took it to Cole a couple of times for not learning and for forgetting things. And I had to tell Ryan just to give Cole a break because it was, you know, it was just the way he is. But Ryan was very upset with Cole for a while. So, and actually, I like it that my black belts are that hard. I don't want soft black belts. So, it doesn't bother me that they get worked up and they get defensive and they, you know, they want to do things the hard way, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm actually quite happy with that. You know.
Honestly, like,
Yeah.
I think as a black belt, you have to be hard. Not only on yourself, but other people. How do you improve otherwise?
That's right. And it's my job to bring in the soft. It's my job to say, okay, you know what? You don't have to be hard this time. Next time, be hard.
Yeah.
Right? I can now sit back and be the grandfather, not have to be the mean dad, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Word.
Word, bro.
So the bad news is you guys are losing me on Mondays for a while. Because Sensei Sherry is quite injured. So I'll be teaching her classes on Mondays.
What did she do?
She was in her backyard playing with her dog. She had the water hose going, and she slipped on a step in her backyard.
On a concrete step?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Ligaments and knee and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's understandable. That does stuff that you won't be there on Mondays. But I mean, to be fair, like, before we were only doing it Wednesday, Friday anyway.
Well, the good thing is Shihan will be there.
Yeah. I honestly, like, can I be honest with you about something?
Yeah.
Like, do you still have time to talk about this?
Yes.
I honestly feel like grateful, yes, but also privileged in a way to be taught by you guys. Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, and I'm going to assume it's the same for you as well, but I could be wrong. I've had really bad trust issues most of my life just because of, like the shit that happened growing up.
Yep.
And some of the closest people to you, you know, fuck you over, lie to you, or stab you in the back or whatever, right?
Yeah, make you feel bad when you should be feeling good. Yep.
Yeah. But I've never met people as trusting and caring and dedicated and, I don't know, just all around good people that are, like, not willing to let a good thing go when it comes to the dojo. Like, you know, there's some people who would, like, come here and they'd be like, okay, this is a dojo, like, it's in someone's apartment, like, fuck this, like, why am I even fucking doing this kind of thing? Like, just have a shitty attitude about it. But, like, nobody here feels that way. And everybody wants to keep actively trying to make it better and bring it, like, make it bigger and bring people together and help people when they're down. And honestly, just the dedication that Shihan and Kelly have to you in general is amazing to me. Because, like, Shihan's, what, in his 50s?
Yeah, he's 55.
Yeah. So he's, like, in his 50s. Like, he's got kids. He's got a life, right? He's gonna go home, all that shit. Like, most people at that age would be like, okay, like, whatever. Like, I have my own thing going. Like, why should I even bother if you're not gonna be there, kind of thing. A lot of people at that age wouldn't even, like, consider still being active in a lot of cases. I'm not speaking for everyone, but a lot of people, right?
Yep.
So just in general, the fact that they're that dedicated to the dojo and you, I don't know, I've never met people like that, and it's really comforting and, in my eyes, kind of amazing to watch grow, especially since it started out as something so small that none of us really thought was going to go anywhere.
Right. But that's the amazing thing about life, right? A little bit of water, a little bit of carbon, a little bit of electricity, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd be lying too if I said that it doesn't make my heart happy to see how happy Ryan is when he's doing martial arts again. Because he talked about it for a really long time, that he wanted to get back into it, and he was sad that he couldn't.
Well, I was teaching him private lessons for a number of years here at my place. Like, we were going over stuff, and, you know, The one-on-one stuff, though, it's easy to get sidetracked. And, you know, him and I train a little bit, then we'd order wings, and then, you know. But we...
Fucking ring a wing.
Yeah. But we had a good thing going here. And then, yeah, and I mean, it's amazing you guys have cleared out your apartment to let us train there. I mean, and the dojo's not about the space. The dojo is about the people. You know.
I definitely realize that a lot more now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, they put value in their buildings, and, you know, we train this much space, and where do you train? I don't think you can measure the amount of room that we have. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty vast. You know, and it's a matter of having those like-minded people with you. And I mean, you notice, like, we're not going to just, I'm not the instructor for everybody, right? But the people that want me know why they want me.
Well, yeah, like, even, honestly, I bet you what I said I learned a lot from tournament, and, like, you saying that makes a lot more sense now after seeing tournament, because, as you said, a lot of dojos and stuff are, like, just very much, like, kata-based, or, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say lazy, but, like, they're not self-defense. It's more of, like, a sport, I guess, is the best way of putting it.
Yes.
From what you've said. Like, they do katas and they do, like, blocking drills and stuff, but they don't actually hit each other. They don't, at least not on purpose, and they don't learn a lot of the same things that we learn, to my understanding. So, yeah, when you say that, like, there's a certain kind of people that will train with you and wants to train with you, I don't think you're wrong. Like, we're all a little crazy, and we all have a fucking thing for pain for some reason. Other than maybe Taylor. He seems like he's, you know, a crippled old man. But other than that...
He used to have a thing for pain. I don't know what happened.
It's kind of weird, actually. Like, I don't mind getting hurt. Like, I don't even really think of it that much, to be honest. Unless I'm with Kelly, then I'm like, just please don't break my fucking nose. I gotta work the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, I do have another question for you.
Yeah.
And I do not mean it in an insulting way at all, so please don't take it that way.
No, go ahead and ask.
Why do we not train as hard as what I was told that you guys used to?
How do you...
Or at least the impression that I get from how hard you guys used to train, I guess.
It's not about not training hard. It's about having the right energy in the room to train that hard. And we're at 80%, I feel. I feel like we're at 80% of what we used to do.
What's the other 20, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a good question. So if we were taking it up a notch, we do more throws, we do more takedowns, we do more groundwork, harder groundwork, which we are going to get into. We are going to get into it. It's just a matter of... See, I changed the system, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's like a time thing, or if it's a you don't want people to leave because it's too hard thing, or...
No, it's none of that. It's about me still getting used to the adjustments that I made. I'm trying to look at where we're going, and we are going to pile that hard on. We are, like, after the barbecue on Sunday, get ready for it to get turned up on, like, next Wednesday.
Okay.
Right? But it's not... That has nothing to do with you guys. It's all about me internalizing all these changes that I've made.
Okay.
Like I was told today that Kelly taught you 2 katas last night.
Yeah.
1 out of the 2 of those katas aren't in our system anymore.
Yeah. That's what he was saying.
Oh, he knew that?
Well, I don't know if he knew that it wasn't in the system. He just said it was an old one that he had forgotten and that we don't really do anymore.
Well, it's not that we don't do it, it's that it's not part of the required curriculum. So it's extra, right? But I would never, if I said you do all the katas you know, I want to see all the katas you know. Right? At a test, that's a heads up. If I say do start from the first kata you know, go to the last kata you know, don't stop. I want to see them all. And I want to see the ones that aren't in the curriculum that you know. Right?
Okay.
So I guess if I was going to ask you if there's anything that you would change about what we're doing, I guess you want it harder.
Yeah, well, I do, but I want to explain why. One, I think because, I don't know, I'm a really fucked up person. We all know this already.
Yes.
For some reason, and I think it has a lot to do with my life up until this point. My life has been very hard. And I feel like the only way that I have grown as a person is by persevering through that. So I think that might play a part in it, but I just feel like, I see Kelly, and I see Ryan, and I see you and Shihan, and I see even Taylor a little bit, but just how much more, experienced they are, and how hard they are, and how, I don't know, just how they act about the dojo is different, I guess, than the newer people.
Right.
And yeah, I understand a lot of that comes with time and practice, but just from things that like Ryan's told me and Kelly's told me about what used to go on in the old dojo, like I almost envy it in a way. I mean, do I really? Am I going to be honest? Do I really want to do push-ups on my knuckles on sandpaper? No, I don't. But if it makes me a stronger person, it makes me better, then yes. Do I really want to get the crap literally kicked out of me just so that I can see how much I can handle and see what I can do to prevent it from happening in terms of self-defenses? No, I don't really want to, but if it's going to make me better, then yes. So, yeah, I would say I want to experience what it was like before. I want to have the similar experience.
You want to walk a mile in our shoes.
Yeah, I've always been that way. I want to know where people are coming from. I want to experience something someone else has experienced and see the hurt and the good and the beauty and the bad and all of that in between.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration.
Okay.
We will see what we can do to fix that.
Okay.
I have no problem going hard. That's how I grew up. Was hard. So.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think that might play a part, at least on my end, as to why I want it to be that way. I don't know. And I'm not saying like when I want it hard. I'm not saying like scream and yell at me until I get it perfect. It's more like I want to challenge myself more.
I got you.
What I'm capable of.
I got you.
I just didn't want you to think that I was trying to criticize how you're teaching or anything like that.
No.
Not.
I know exactly what you mean. One night I come home from work and I was so mad, and I had to teach, Ryan was down there. You can ask him about this. I walked in, I grabbed him, and I started using him for tricep curls over my head. And everyone's standing there watching me, and he's holding on for dear life, right? But
Oh my God.
I want to get back there too. I would love nothing more than to be that monster again, you know.
I don't know if you'd call it a monster, but then again, I don't know what it was like, so I guess I can't speak too much about that. But
When I was fighting, I did not even see the other person as a person. I went right through them, and I didn't care. I didn't care if I got kicked in the head. I didn't care if I got kicked anywhere, punched. I was getting a point. And if I wasn't getting a point, I was hurting the other guy.
fair enough.
That is the only way to beat these tournament fighters. You can't go in there. I can't go in there with my short legs and beat a kicker. But I can go in there and I can injure a kicker so he can't kick and beat him. Kempo has no mercy. Kempo has nothing to give for the opponent. The opponent is not there. I'm merely moving myself from one empty space to the other. And when I get to the other side, there's only room for me there. There's not room for more things in that empty space. So things have to be displaced.
How do you develop that way of thinking? Do you even have an answer?
Yes, it's long. It's brutal. It's drawn out. Give me a second. Kempo is about living and dying. Sword is about living and dying. The philosophical principles behind martial arts, behind martial science, is that this breath is my last. This breath is my last. This breath is my last. Okay?
Okay.
If this breath is my last, I have to get everything out of that half a second that I can. And if we're talking about combat, then I have to take and win everything that I can win in that half a second. If we're talking about art, I have to be the best artist I can be in that half a second. If we're talking about writing, I've got to write the best. I have to come up with the words to leave behind that are going to inspire the next. Nothing can be wasted. Not one movement, not one motion. Because it's my last. And I'm doing a disservice to the ancestors if I waste it. If I don't do my absolute best. If I don't do and give everything that's inside of me right then and there, that last breath was a waste. And that's my fault.
Okay.
You have to believe that. It's an indoctrination, right? It's like, you're religious, correct?
Yeah.
I'm spiritual.
I would say I'm more spiritual than religious, but either way.
Okay. I just thought because you went to church and you were... are you a Christian?
I don't label myself as one, no.
Okay. So when I'm moving and I'm in the dojo and I'm showing you these things and I'm having my epiphanies inside my own head, and all these lights are going off, and I'm having explosions in my mind because I'm so elated that I've got it and I've nailed it and I've passed it on. I haven't wasted a thing. But when I'm laying on my couch and I'm eating chips and I'm watching TV and I'm rubbing my dog's head and nothing's coming to me and I'm wasting away and time's ticking and I'm waiting for class to get here, I'm wasting. If you're not pushing for that next moment, for that next big aha, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. And I have wasted moments. I have wasted time. And now I have to make up for it.
Okay. I mean, I waste a lot of my time, I feel.
I can't tell you what wasting your time looks like. I can tell you what wasting my time looks like. If you feel good with where you are and what you've accomplished and what you're doing, that's not a waste. How minimal it is. As long as you're happy and you feel accomplished. You don't have to accomplish big things all the time to feel vital and useful and like purposeful. But make sure there's purpose in everything you do. Because without purpose, there's no meaning. Without meaning, we are nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I've been kind of thinking about that a lot, actually, when it comes to my life, but I never really thought about it in terms of martial arts.
But martial arts is life. Every lesson you learn in the dojo can be applied outside of the dojo.
I notice that a little bit more and more every day. Just when I'm at work doing stuff, or I'm in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, actually. Ryan kind of warned me that your brain will change that way, but I didn't really believe him, to be honest.
Yep.
Like, you'll just be, like, opening something, and you'll be like, oh, hey, look, this is kind of like martial arts. Or you'll just be, like, at work and doing something, and you're like, oh, hey, this is like martial arts.
Or you'll be at work sitting on a chair and you chop a guy in the neck from behind you and realize, oh, hey, this is like martial arts.
I still don't know how I did that.
That was beautiful, though. I love that video. I could watch that video over and over.
Oh, I don't know how I managed it, but I'm like, yes. Like, in the back of my mind, it was like, yes, paying off, thank God. It was pretty funny.
It was good. It was. Let's see, that's the thing. Your win is my win. Right? Because you wouldn't have got there without me. And my win is your win. I wouldn't have got 8th degree. I wouldn't have got this doctorate. And now coming up, well, my 9th is a bit off, but we know it's coming. So.
Yeah. I believe everything happens for a reason.
And I can't fight it. Because if I believe what I believe, I'm not allowed to fight with the universe. Because when you fight with the universe, your truck crashes into a tree at 60 miles an hour. When you fight with the universe, you get a tumor in your colon. When you fight with the universe, you have a hip replacement and your recovery goes shitty because you're too busy fighting with the universe instead of focusing on moving forward. You're too busy looking at what you had, and when you're looking backwards, you can't see what's coming.
It's true.
So I've learned these lessons, and I hope I never forget them, so I don't have to learn them again. So I stopped fighting with the universe.
I'm getting there, but still working on it.
You still have lots of time.
Sorry?
You still have lots of time. You'll figure it out. I have faith in you.
Dang. I'm I'm trying to figure it out right now. Where I want my life to go, where I want things to go. I definitely want to be a black belt, I know that for sure.
You'll get there.
What is the end goal of all this?
Yes, you will.
To get rich? To make a life, a living doing this? Or...
No, I think I've got my questions answered. That freaking frack side road. Oh,
I had a feeling as soon as they were here that I was like, okay, this is probably not going to go exactly as planned.
but it's some good material. I've got hours and hours. Cole's got to get over here so we can edit a couple episodes together, but we've got some good stuff.
To make a life, a living.
I got to get Shihan still, but maybe I'll. No, I've got to get him. I've got to get Peach and Shihan. I think those two guys will be pretty interesting. Everybody's had stuff to add that I didn't know, right? Like I'm learning a lot talking to you guys too. Are you excited? No, you
What is the end goal of all this? Like, to get rich? To make a life, a living doing this? Or is it for you? What is the end goal of all this? Like, to get rich? To make a life, a living doing this? Or... What is the end goal of all this? Like, to get rich? To make a life, a living doing this? Or... What is the end goal of all this? Like, to get rich? To make a life, a living